Lesson 3. Now who's stupid?
In this lesson, we will learn about layers and how to organize them. And also, we will cover scene assembly. These are weekly lessons. However, if you want to binge watch all the course videos, then join my early bird membership plan. So without further ado, let's start. So in this lesson, we will more cover about scene organization and layers. In front of you, you have this model of a skateboard, which you can find the link for it in the description below. So you can download from that link. So let's start with the select. Select tool is here on your top left, and the shortcut for the select tool is S. So when you press S on your keyboard, you will go to the select tool. Now in the select tool, basically allows you to select any clay tool that you see on the screen. So there are a couple of clay tools here, so I can simply click on them, and the selected one will be turned into a blue color. And simply to deselect, you can click anywhere outside, so it will be deselected. You can select multiple objects with the shift key, so you can press shift on your keyboard, you can click on multiple objects, and you can select all of them. Now, selections here are three different kind of selections you would see. The first one is select all. If you click on it, it will select everything. If you deselect it, or if you go like deselect from here by clicking anywhere in the empty area, it will deselect that. Now, the shortcut for this is Control A, or if you're using Mac, so Command A. Next here is the deselect all. So if I click on the select all, and if I press on deselect all, it will deselect everything. Now, deselect can be done by clicking anywhere outside in the empty area, or there is also a shortcut which is Control Shift A. So Control Shift A, if I press, it will do the same thing. So basically, sometimes what happens, you have not enough empty area to click on, but I prefer to click on empty area because that's more faster. So I usually do that. Now, next here is the invert selection. Suppose I have selected the top part of the skateboard, and if I go to the invert selection, which is Control I or Command I if using Mac, so what it will do is that it will reverse the selection. It will actually select those parts that were not selected, and it will deselect the part that selected, like it will invert it. So basically, whatever is selected, suppose this top part of the skateboard is selected, you will see the gizmo around that object. And if I select this one, the gizmo will be around this object. So this is how you will get the gizmos around the objects that you are selecting. Now, you can see that when we select, everything turns stays as it is, but the selection turns blue. This shows that you have selected the object, and when you select the object, you can actually edit it. But to edit it, you have to select that object, and then you have to go to whatever editing you want to use. Like suppose if I want to use a clay tool, I can go there, and you will notice that everything else becomes darker gray, and the one that is selected stays the light color, the default color. So that's like suppose if I will go to the eraser tool here, so you can see the same thing is happening here. Otherwise, if you don't want to use, if you don't want to go directly to these tools after selection, you can also do one thing. You can double click any part of the model or any clay tool here that you see on the screen to select it, or to go inside the you can say the editing mode. So you have to double click that. Like suppose if I click on it, it just select, but if I double click on it, I will go to the last tool that I was working on. Okay, so you can simply directly go inside the editing mode. And if you want to come out of the editing mode, you can double click anywhere in the empty area, and you will go back to the selection. So this is how you can go inside and outside the editing mode. So you can select either and go to whatever editing you want to do, or you can double click and it will move you to the last use editing. And other thing regarding this selection tool is that whatever is selected, if you right click on that, you will see the action related to that. Okay. For example, if I flip this, so it will flip the selection only. And if I like delete it or do anything, it will apply that that action on the selection. So that's why in the last class I told you the right click menu is basically context sensitive menu. So let's deselect everything. And what else we can do here is that another way of entering the editing mode is very simple. Whatever you want to edit, like suppose I want to edit the wheel here. So instead of double clicking on this one, what I can do is that let's double click it here in the empty window to get out of it and click it once again to deselect. So what I can do here is that I can hover over whatever I want to edit and press S on my keyboard. Like suppose I want to edit this wheel here. So I will hover here, press S key, and it will be highlighted. And then if I want to exit out here, so I will simply hover here and then press Alt and S, and I will go back to my like normal selection mode. So simply, like suppose if I want to edit here, like this part, S, okay, and Alt S back to, okay, and then S, okay, so Alt S back. So this is how you can easily go inside and outside using the S key to enter and S Alt to exit. So you just have to hover and press the S. Now, the reason that some of the, like when you click or double click on any of the particular or specific clay tool or like hover over and press S on that, the reason that that is selected and that is entered in the editing mode and rest are turned gray or darker because they are not in the editing mode is because these clay tools are created on a different layer. So we will see now how we can create a layer. Suppose I'm here inside the editing mode for my top part of the skateboard. I want to add something like a clay tool, okay? And I decide to put some disk over here. So what I can do is that I can just make that like disk. So once the disk is created, I can modify it the way I want it. Okay. So simply let's change the settings of this. Let's make it bigger all over and then height a little bit. Okay. And if I will press spacebar, so what it will do is that it will become the part of this skateboard, whereas I don't want this to be the part of the skateboard. Okay. So what I can do here is that I don't want this to be part of the skateboard. Like suppose as I said, if I will press spacebar, you will see that it has become the part of the skateboard. And if I double click it here, you can see that they both are the same like clay tool. But what if I don't want it? Okay, I don't want this to be that part of it. So I press Ctrl Z to undo that. Now, if I don't want that, what I can do here is that I can simply go here in the new layer option, and the shortcut is Ctrl N, or if you're using Mac, then Command N. So if I will press Ctrl N on my keyboard, so you will notice everything else has become darker except for the disk. So this disk is now on a different layer. So that means if I will press spacebar and start creating objects like, you know, from here, if I will press spacebar and move around, okay. So what it will do is that it will convert it will make this shape in a different layer. So this is now a different layer and I can freely move it around, and this is not the part of any layer. Now, in Adobe Substance 3D Modeler, we don't have any layer like panel here to see how many layers there are. So whatever you see on the screen are the layers. Okay. So things that are joined together. Maybe they are like merged object. They are not on different layers, but if you see them turning blue, that means they are on different layers. Whatever is turning in blue is either in a group or is in a different layer. So this is how you can create a layer. And to delete a layer, you can simply select it and press the delete button. Okay. And let's undo this. And if you want to duplicate the layer, what you can do simply is that you can just go here, press the create duplicate. And when you do that, it will create a duplicate item here. So this is basically on a like a different layer. So you can, if you double click on it, you will see that it is on a different layer. So if I go back outside, double click on this is on a different layer. So you can see that there it will be on a different layer. So let's delete these because I don't want this. Now let's see how we can work with the orientation here. Now there are three different versions of the orientation here. This is basically the world, this is the object, and this is the local. So if I will create like any clay tool here, okay, so you will notice that if I move around, just see this is rotated and basically I'm in the local state. If I will click on here, okay, so the orientation will be on the world. If I will go here, so it will be on the object itself. So you can see it is directing towards the object. So I like to use mostly the object, but sometimes I switch to the local. Okay, so this is how you can work with this. So the local is basically based on the orientation of the layer itself. The world is for the whole viewport. Okay, so this is what you have in the orientation part here. Now, apart from the orientation, layer, duplication, and flipping, you can see there is a flipping option here. So you can flip anything from here. Like suppose in the last few lessons, we did that. Let's make another shape here, make it a little bigger, and like it reset it. Okay. So we can see how we can flip it. So if let's change this shape to something so that we can easily see how we can flip that. Let's make a bigger box here. Okay. And then we will use the erase tool. Okay. So we are done with this. Okay. Now, if I want to flip this, I have this flip option. If I click on it, so you can see that it is flipping, but it's not showing any difference because I'm on a different origin. So it is like flipping on a different origin. So, but if I will rotate it in this form and then I press flip, so you can see how is it flipping. So basically, when you start flipping, this blue line that appears is showing the middle origin of the object itself, not the layer, like the layer itself. Okay, so it's the middle origin of the layer on which the object is, and this is on this it actually works on. We can also have nested group, like group inside group. Now here down, I have this object, okay, on top of it. It's like a group. Now, if I double click it on this one, you will see that there is these the bolts inside this group. So there is like there was a group, and inside the group I have these 4 parts. Now these nuts, if I double click on it, you will notice there are 2 parts. So inside the group there was another group. So you can have nested group. So if I want to go outside, I can double click on any part, like suppose here. So I will be outside one group like part, okay, one level up. And if I double click it here outside, so I will be completely outside the group, like the second level up. So this is how you can have nested groups also. So you just have to simply select the objects and you can make the group. And as I said, to select multiple objects, you can press Shift key and keep on selecting the objects. Or the other faster way of selecting multiple objects is that you can click anywhere in the empty area with your left mouse button and then hover over whatever you want to select, and it will be keep on selecting. So that is more faster. So again, just click on any empty area with the left mouse button, and then you can start hovering over what you want to select. So that's another easier way to select it. Now, if I want to duplicate a layer, as I told you before, is that if you want to duplicate a layer, you have to select that part of the layer and you have to click on the create duplicate. So another way of duplicating is the layer, like a layer is, you can select the part of the layer and you can press Ctrl D on your keyboard, D for duplicate. And when you do that, it will be duplicated. So suppose if I double click on this, to go inside the editing mode, you can see this is completely on a different layer and this is on a different layer. So if I double click on here, I'm on this layer, and if I double click here, I'm on this layer. So it creates another layer and copies the object in that layer. So it said layer duplicate, the Control D. And let's delete this. I don't want this part. Okay. Delete it. Okay. You have to select and then delete. Okay. You cannot be in edit mode and delete it. What else we can duplicate? Here, if I will select this part from this layer and press D on my keyboard, D for duplicate, and then move it, you will see the duplicate version of that part, the duplicate layer of that part will, or that selection will be moving. So I have to press D and move, D and move. Okay. Now I can also use D for stamping the duplicated clay tool. Like suppose if I'm moving this around and if I want to stamp this here or just, place it here, so I can just go here, press D here, press D here. Maybe if I will go up, press D here and D. So this is how I can stamp these. So this is another way of duplicating a clay tool or a layer. So I can, you can see that the layer is duplicated here. So this is how you can duplicate the clay tool or a layer. So let me delete all of them. I don't need them. Now, we know that there are layers, but what if you want to hide the layers? Now, I don't want to see the stop part, for example. So what I can do here is that I can select it, right click on it, and I can simply go here in the visibility action. I can hide this. Okay. And also I can press on show all to show everything. Also, we have isolate scope. Now, what does the isolate scope do? If you are working in a layer, in a group, suppose this is a group here, okay? And this group, if I double click on it and go inside the group, you can see it is divided into two parts. So if I right click here, and if I want to work on this group only and not rest of the part, I can switch and toggle on this isolate scope. So it will hide every other thing except for this group. So whatever is inside the group is not hidden. Okay, it's visible, but anything which was outside the group is now hidden. So I can turn off this isolate scope. Now to hide, we also have shortcuts. Okay, so suppose if I want to hide this, I can select this and press H on my keyboard. If I want to hide this, I can select this one, H on my keyboard, H. If I select this, H on my keyboard. And if I click anywhere outside, if nothing is selected, if everything is deselected, and then if I press H, it will unhide all. So on the deselected viewport, the H will unhide all, and on anything selected, it will hide that selected object. So this is the shortcut for hiding and unhiding. Now, sometimes what happens is that when you create some objects, right? I have created this, for example, okay? And then I will create a new layer here. And on this new layer, you can see that it has turned into darker area. That means now I'm in a new layer. So these all things that are darker are a different layer. So what I can do here is that I can go to the primitives, so maybe like circle, okay? And I will create this clay tool here. Now, both of them are on a different layer, okay? Like if I want to move it around here, Okay, I cannot merge it anymore. The reason is like I cannot like basically keep them as a one object. They are not one object because they are in a different layer. But what if you want to merge them? What if you want them to be like a one part? So what you can do is that you can assemble your like layers the way you want, select them, okay, and after you are done, you can merge them. To merge them, there is a merge option down here, or the shortcut is Control E on your keyboard if you're using PC, or Command E if you're using Mac. So if I press Control E, okay, so you can see after some calculation they are merged, and you can see that they are joined together. So this is how you can merge two different layers to make them as a one single object. That's all for today, and in the next lesson we will cover symmetry and repetition, and we'll see how we can work with these and how useful they are. If you find my videos interesting and useful, then please click the like button and click on the bell icon to receive notifications about my new tutorials and courses. If you are watching my videos and have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe it now and share it with your friends so they can also subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and Amazon.com. The links are given in the description below. In the end, I would like to request that please watch my videos online and do not download them, because this will affect my watch time hours, which is quite demotivating for me. And if you want me to continuously create these new courses, so please subscribe to my channel and watch all my videos online. Also like them and share them. So everyone, take care, stay connected, and see you in the next class.